I am a former religious cult member who spent 27 years having all areas of my life completely controlled by someone else. I was born and raised in a small communal, Bible-based cult in the US. I was a part of the cult until I was 27. Daily life revolved around a church and the pastor's wife, who ran the cult. The children were raised to be workers in the church and to give their lives for what the leader wanted. My siblings, mother, and I were once one of 9 families and other single people when the group originally started, but that has now dwindled down to roughly 3 to 4 families. We were not allowed to have friends outside the church, to live anywhere except a church-owned house, or leave the church without escort or express permission. As kids grew up and went to college, they were discouraged from getting jobs to pay for school, but instead heavily encouraged, coerced, to max out student loans and give the money to the church. Students' class schedules were denied or approved as the leadership saw fit. The single family unit was destroyed, and everyone was pressured into viewing the group as one big family. I have been out now for 4 years, and it has been one interesting ride thus far. Learning how to live in the real world has been difficult, but the independence and freedom I now have is irreplaceable. My entire family, except for my father, still attends the, quote, church. I still believe in the Bible, and I attend church. Needless to say, I am extremely skeptical of dogma and religion, and I do my best to seek out truth and reject lies.
What made you finally get out? Why did it take so long in the first place?
I tried to get out when I was 19, but I was talked into returning. They use a lot of manipulation techniques, make promises they don't intend to keep. They told us that if we left, God was going to kill us. We were raised in fear and completely surrounded with fear constantly. As a result, I grew up very fearful of just about everything. We were also taught that the leader was God's anointed, and we could never question her or her teachings, or we would be killed. This was reinforced by stories from the Bible where people questioned authority and God punished them. There were several really bad things that happened when I was in my mid-20s that culminated in my leaving. One of these things was the pastor trying to have an affair with one of my older sisters. When she refused him, his wife and other leaders painted my sister out to be a whore and told the church that she had tried to seduce the pastor. I watched them drive my sister into deep depression and break her as a person. Every time I tried to say something or talk about the truth, I was punished or told I didn't know what was really going on. Eventually, I had to get a job, met a guy who became my best friend and husband, and together we talked through many things, studied the Bible, and prayed that I would know what the truth of my situation was. I actually had a day when I had an absolute revelation of what was happening and what that place was, so I left.
How is your sister now?
Thank you for asking. She is recovering slowly and continues to get better with every passing month. She has a long way to go, but I am hopeful she will fully recover one day.
Did they just let you leave? Or did you have to sneak away from it? Thanks for the IAMA.
I had to sneak out. If you told anyone you were leaving, they would throw you out on the street with nothing and not allow you to get your things. Also, I knew my family would try really hard to talk me into staying. And because I love them so much, it would be hard to resist their pleas. So I packed 4 bags with as many important things and necessities as I could and took everything to work with me that day. Actually, I took 2 bags with me on the bus that morning, returned around lunchtime, and took the other 2 with me when I went back to work that afternoon. After I got to work, I called my oldest sister to tell her that I was not coming home and that the only reason I was calling was so they wouldn't worry about me. I then told her that I didn't want anyone trying to contact me for a few weeks while I sorted everything out. I then had my coworker drive me to a friend's house. I had met this girl in college and we had stayed friends. How, I'm not sure. Fortunately for me, she owned a house and had a free room that had just become available. She let me stay with her for 6 months until I could find my own place. Thank you for all the comments.
Great friend you have there. If you didn't have a friend to stay with, what would you have done?
I have no idea. I have thought about that many times, and I still don't have an answer. I might have stayed with my now husband, who was the one who drove me to my girlfriend's house. I know I would have found a way, because I was determined to leave.
How did you meet your husband? Did the other members of the cult know about him, or did you have to keep it secret?
I met him at work. He actually attended the church for a few Sundays and met several of the members. They never liked him and started the campaign early to malign him to me and make sure I had nothing to do with him. I was always honest with them about my husband and our friendship. The things he saw when he attended prompted him to talk with me about what that place really was. While he is not the reason I left, his friendship helped push me towards facing the truth about that place and ultimately making the decision to leave.
Are the cult leaders harassing or perusing you for leaving? I heard that is the case with some cults. Also, are there things you miss in a cult-type living?
I have become public enemy number 1 at the cult, a place my father used to hold. I'm actually pretty proud of that. The cult leaders hate me and continually malign me to the members there. They are constantly coming up with lies about me and propagating those lies to both acquaintances and members of the cult. I have done my best to address every lie they spread about me in a loving, truthful way, and most times it ends up coming back to bite them. Thus, my infamous reputation at the church. There are many things I miss about living there, which is perhaps the strangest and most difficult to comprehend fact for many people. The closeness and sense of security that is developed in these places leaves you feeling empty and scared when you leave. It takes a long time to get over that. I guess what has helped me most is realizing that the type of closeness you feel is not a genuine experience, but rather an effect of the trauma you go through. In addition, that type of closeness is not meant to be shared with a large group of people in the way it is shared in a cult. Although it may feel great, it is ultimately detrimental to your health. I also miss my family a lot.
Thank you so much for watching until the end. Don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss the next videos. In the meantime, check out the other ones. They're already waiting for you. Share your thoughts on this topic in the comments and tell your own stories. Wishing you a great day, and see you in the next one. Bye-bye.